Hi everybody, welcome to this general playthrough for the 18-hole cup and divisions that you can see displayed on the screen right now. Before we look at the shots, please hit thumbs up, make sure you subscribe to the channel as well. Replays and adjustments for all 18 holes, you will find timestamps in the description down below, and remember to tweak according to your club's balls and play style, as well of course as the different wind angles that you may experience during the week, because this is a general playthrough only, but we'll give you an idea of how you might want to approach the holes. Bear in mind, some of these shots may feature old replays from the archives here on the channel, and in which case they will have the old ball attribute levels. So please watch carefully and write down any tweaks as needed. Good luck. Here we go. We're going to play with the Thor's hammer and the runner as our short iron here, because we need top spin on both accounts. So we're going to add spin first with the Thor's hammer, 7 top spin and 1 bar side spin to the left. Once you've added spin, look at where my second bounce is in case you've got different club level than me. It's in the middle of the fairway, you can see there, nicely into that tree shadow, about in the centre of that tree shadow. So try and line up in the right spot. You don't want to aim too close to this first section of rough. Then we're going to adjust max plus 10 power 3 settings. Now the rock takes the edge of the white ring out of the way of the view, so I adjust from the blue ring and then over the bullseye as needed. So I would suggest you pull from the same point on that blue ring just for clarity. We're going within a wall curl to the left with no overpower, and then we want to hit perfect and have a pen and paper ready to write down your drive distance, because we're going to use that for our approach. Top spin takes us very nicely down the fairway, and it's going to be in the region of 315 to 320 yards. Second shot with the runner for the top spin, going with the runner for level 10 because most of my viewers will have that rather than higher levels of short irons that aren't that easy to upgrade. So adding spin first, 6 top spin and 1 left spin, and then we're setting up with the ball guide going 1 green square through the hole. Red ring is touching the rough, but if you've hit great left or great right, you might not have that ring reference. So focus on the ball guide once you've added spin. Drive distance of 317 yards is played at 78% slider on this shot, 10% elevation, pulling over the bullseye, and try and line up nicely and vertical straight line with your pull. Especially awkward when you're adjusting down a slope, so make sure you visualize that properly. 2% per yard, so if your drive was 318, you play 76% slider and so on, dropping it right at the pin for an eagle. Hole in one here with the quarterback. Take note of all the various parts of the setup though. We're going to add spin first, and we're going with 3.5 backspin and 2 bars of right spin. Then the bottom right of the yellow ring will be very close to the rough line here with the ball guide short of the hole, and you can see this pointing just off to the left edge with your spin added, of course. Then we are going to adjust mid distance 10% elevation, power 3 numbers, mid plus 10, power 3. Making our adjustment there, ensure a nice straight pull here, and then we're going to take our shot, centre the ball, hit perfect. Might need some wind angle tweaks of course with par 3s, but a perfect ball away is going to catch the rough very, very nicely. You can see here this setup will be safe from a great left and a great right, and we're rolling in nicely for the hole in one. Quarterback, sniper and berserker here. P5 max rest, red ring touching the rough on the left. Then we are going to add spin, and we're using a berserker so that we don't need to overpower the second shot. I'm going with 1 bar of top spin and 1 bar of right spin. Once we've done that, then we're going to adjust max plus 10, power 5 settings. So max plus 10, P5. Final thing to say here is that we are going to make 2 pulls over the bullseye, and you should do the same so that you are replicating accurately. For me, that's going to be 12 rings. Then it's time to take our shot. If you're worried about a glitch roll, or if you've got really high wind here, you could take a little bit of top spin off. Obviously it's up to you to tweak and adapt as needed. Use these as base plays though. Very nice here, rolling down the fairway, and we're parking up before the end of the rough there, drive distance of around 340 yards. Second shot, move the target to have the white ring touching the rough on the right. Then I'm adding here It's about 5.9 topspin and always 2 right spin. In the end, I think I had a little bit of topspin on and go with 6 bars. And we're looking at the ball guide coming out of the rough and safely onto the green. Outside chance of an albatross here. If you want to tweak it, then you can add 2 clicks of overpower. But for reference here, I'm adjusting maximum distance, 5% elevation, and I'm using sniper 10 numbers, pulling twice over the bullseye. Now sniper 9, you're going to be a little bit shorter. You may need to push up 2 yards after your adjustment and obviously stretch out into overpower slightly to find your position. Like I said, we lose a bit of pace here. We're safely on the green. If you want to be a bit more aggressive, to have a go at the albatross, then I would recommend you go with 2 clicks of overpower and see how that comes in. If not, you're putting for a very nice eagle. Starting with the quarterback at max distance with a power 3 ball. Second bounce, as you can see, is 1 ring to the left of the bunkers on the right. Then I switch to APOC, and I'm going with 5.8 topspin and 2 bars side spin to the right. That is max available topspin with APOC level 4 and 5. The adjustment is max plus 10 power 3, even though we are not at max distance of club. Bear in mind here that there are some dead spots in the rough, so there is a risk that you may get stuck in the rough near the green. However, if you do, it's still a very simple rough iron wedge. There is a nice funnel down to the pin. It's full overpower, slower needle, and 2.25 ball curl to the right. So the middle of the tee is going down through the middle of the triangle. Rolls out nicely onto the green. Don't want to reduce the topspin too much because we'd roll long. But be careful of wind angles. If you get more tailwind, or rather more crosswind angle and less headwind, then you will want to reduce the topspin on your drive. So pay attention to wind angle there, but there is 1 route to green for your eagle. First of the par 3s, and we're going to play with a quarterback and a kingmaker, and we want to keep the wind below 8 miles per hour. So if you've got a Kingslayer or a Centurion, then make sure you switch to that. This is untested in anything above 8. It's always good to keep the wind below 8. We're going with 3.8 backspin, 1 bar side spin to the left, and then we're setting up with the ball guide through the hole with spin added at the final part where the ball guide gets clipped by the rough. So if you move 1 click up, you'll see it bounce normally on the fairway. We want to go 1 click below that. The adjustment is 1-on-1, so very simple. 7.8 miles per hour wind. We're going to adjust 7.8 rings. Like I said, keep the wind below 8 on this one. Pay attention to those all-important wind angle tweaks as well, because you may have a different one than is shown here in the video, but that drops nicely for a hole-in-one. First of all, an aggressive option, fixed aim adjustment. We just pull back according to wind strength. You can use a berserker in higher winds. If you have a low wind with a berserker, I would switch to a wind 0 ball, which is what I go with here. I could have played with a berserker though with 11.1, but a fusion ball gives me better needle stability, and a higher wind means a better needle speed. 3.2 topspin, 2 bars left spin, stretch out to power 5 max, blue ring touching the rough line with the APOC 5 and 6. I don't adjust here, I just pull back in line with the tee to plus 14 with a 13 mile per hour wind. It will vary depending on your wind strength. If you have less wind, if you have like 12, you wouldn't need to pull back as much. We're going with full overpower. It's a slightly slower needle with higher wind, and 0.8 ball curl to the right. So the left edge of the fusion ball touching the inner wall of the adjustment ring on the right. This is a little bit of a gamble. Sometimes you will end up in the rough or the sand. So if you're feeling brave, go for it. But bear in mind, you will need to alter your top spin amounts and your pull back depending on your wind strength. You will need more top spin for lower wind and less pullback, so bear that in mind. But there is an aggressive option for those who want to go for it. If you don't want to go aggressive, then this might be the route for you. White ring touching the rough on the right at plus 6 with the rock level 8. With the rock level 7 will be plus 11, and with the rock level 9 that will be plus 5. 3.2 backspin, 1 bar side spin to the left. Very simple adjustment, it's 1-on-1, so 7.8 wind, adjust 7.8 rings. Nice and simple there. Hit perfect, no need for any curl or any overpower. Minor great left, minor great right, still going to be absolutely fine. And this drive distance should be very, very consistent indeed. And we're getting it to around 310 yards. Second shot, sniper, rough bump. Close miss here in the video, you can correct it with pull angle, or the tweak shown in the notepad should get you in, if not closer. I do a fringe check, +9 at the beginning of the fringe is going to be mid distance, 0 elevation, power 2 settings. Red ring all inside the rough, so none of the red ring overlapping the fairway. 4 top spin, 1 left spin. Ball guide just through the hole. Again, the tweak on the notepad is not what I adjust in the video. That is a suggested recommendation. Mid +0, power 2, I believe, based on the miss in the video. The other thing is, of course, you could correct it with a pull angle. Entirely up to you, but something that you can base yourself on and work from. Catches the rough nicely and the speed is good, just missing to the left on that one, just about a ball's width to the left. But there's the safe option. Nice hole-in-one here with a sniper. We're going to add spin first. And here we're going to go with 1 bar of top spin and 2 bars of side spin to the left. Then we find our position. We're looking at the top of the white ring, touching the bunker, and also the tip of the ball guide. You need to kind of check both of these. But you want the tip of the ball guide just inside that light green square column. So pause the video, rewind and pause it, make sure you got some references there. But like I said, you want to focus on the white ring touching the bunker, but also that tip of the ball guide once you've added spin. Because if you're off a little bit left or right there, you may well miss. Mid +20, power 3 numbers, using sniper 10 numbers as well. Centering the ball, and of course subject to any wind angle tweaks you might need. Then of course you've got a very good chance at a hole-in-one here. And the pace has been good to me. If I've missed this one, it's only been a narrow amount and I've still stayed on the green. Hitting the pin and falling for a hole-in-one. We're going to lay up here with this very nasty wind angle. Quarterback first, white ring touching the rough on the right at the top of +1 yards. Then we switch to the rock. Do not have the Goliath in the bag though, for goodness sake. Pack the Grizzly, that's a mistake there in the video. So pack the rock and the sniper and the Grizzly. We're going to add spin, 2 bars of right spin, and a very simple adjust here. It's going to be 1 to 1. So if you've got a wind of 7.9 like me, you're going to go 7.9 rings. The good news is here you can actually use a Titan on this one, because I'm not using 3 bars of side spin on either the drive or the approach. So it's up to you. If you want to try and save a Kingmaker, then you've still got a very good chance at the eagle. Centering the ball after our one-on-one adjustment, regardless of your club level, in terms of the rock at least. And we hit perfect and get a drive distance of around 280 yards. Now with the second shot, this is why you need to pack the Grizzly, because you want to easily find the min line. So go to the min line of your sniper, blue ring touching the rough on the left, and then add your spin. And we want to have a look at the tip of the ball guide here. It's going to be around 4 top spin, but it may vary depending on your drive. Here you can see the tip of the ball guide, 3 green squares beyond the pin, vertically aligned with the pin. Now the problem here is I just left this one on the right edge. I would like you to maybe try adding a little bit more left spin. If that doesn't work, then maybe a click or 2 of left curl just to swing the ball in a little bit better. The pace was very nice, but like I said, I just parked this one on the right edge. But I love the adjustment, it comes in very nicely. We're always going to play minimum distance, 10% elevation, because we're setting up at the min line exactly. And we're just tweaking spins according to, of course, our drive and our position after our drive. So min +10, power 3, centre the ball and hit perfect. And you'll see here, based on the results of this replay, some tweaks that you might want to make as suggested earlier. You can have a look at it, take a token or 2, or just go live and try one of the tweaks. Coming in very nicely, but just look at that. Little bit short on the right edge. We're going with the quarterback here, P3 max rest, 3 top spin and 3 right spin, because we don't want to get a load of distance on this drive. And we're setting up with the blue ring touching the rough on the right at P3 max rest. The adjustment I'm making here, maximum distance with 15% elevation, 15% elevation. Making an adjustment, and it's time to take our shot, and we're going here with full curl to the left but no overpower. So make sure you're not doing circle drop, just try and drag the ball across kind of nicely horizontally, so you're not adding any unwanted OP. Bouncing very nicely, and we want to not threaten the rough at all. Drive distance is going to be around 350. Now the check here is a white ring sand check, and it's both the right edge and the bottom left of the white ring touching the fairway or the edges of the sand. You can see it was +4 there. It's a bit of a weird check, but that's kind of the only reference I found. Then I'm adding spin. 2 bars of backspin and 3 left spin. Now this isn't without risk, so please understand that. You are going to lose the ball guide when we adjust here. You can see there my ball guide reference when I was finding my position, pointing at the hole but stopping 2 green squares short. So for that +4 sand check, which would be +6 with sniper level 9, I'm playing it mid-distance, 10% elevation. However, I'm going to use inner wall left curl just to make sure of it, but look how close it is to the tree. If you're worried about wind angles, just for goodness sake play it safely to the green and understand the risks there. But if it works, it's very nice. Please do join us over on Facebook. We have an ever-growing community of players there, over 16,000 members. Head over to Facebook, search for BK Golf Clash and submit your member request there. Free to join. There are free guides posted, lots of shot sharing and discussion points. You can chat and interact with me as well, and loads more over on Facebook. So head over there and search for BK Golf Clash. Time for another hole-in-one. I'm going to show you a bounce up with the quarterback. You could play further back with the sniper. You could play a rough bump with the quarterback as well. Several options, but here is a suggestion if you want to play a standard bounce shot. 6 backspin and 1 bar side spin to the left first of all. Then we set up at the minimum distance line with the quarterback, red ring touching the bunker, ball guide just to the right edge of the hole. Then I remove half a bar of left spin. So it is a respin shot here. 6 backspin, half a bar of left spin is the final amount. Minimum distance line. Then we just min +15, power 4. I'm pushing rings because the trees are in the way. Awkward wind angle here, but this one has a chance. Wind angle tweaks will be needed, of course. You could go with a little click or 2 of left or right curl if you have a different angle to me. But a perfect ball here, just dropping in left side of cup. So min +15, power 4 settings. 2 ways you can attack the pin here for the eagle. I'm going to show you the Guardian bounce on this video. The other one is an aggressive rough bump, but you would need a side spin 4 ball. So in the interest of free to play, I'm going to show you the Guardian shot. 1.5 backspin with the quarterback, and it's white ring touching the rough at +0. So 1.5 backspin only, white ring touching the rough at +0. Again, 1-on-1 adjustment. So 8.4 wind, we're going to adjust 8.4 rings. There we go. And now it's time to take our shot. Nice simple bounce over here. In my opinion, it's not worth sending it. Of course, you can try if you want to, but I think there's 2 options really laying up. You can either do the Guardian or the rough bump. So you've got 2 options to choose there. Of course, if you want to try and blast it, you can do as well. You may get lucky. 291 yards, fairly consistent outcome on that drive. Second shot, we're going to play with the Guardian, and we're going to go max backspin. I'm looking at my plus yardage here. TC +10 on the notepad. That means true club distance, 10% elevation. So for every 1 yard you are away from max distance, which is +12, we're going to reduce 2.5% slider. So +10 would be 95% slider, +8 would be 90% slider, and so on. So +1 here is going to be around the 75% slider mark. It's actually 72 if we want to be totally accurate. Setting up there with the second bounce before the pin and also to the right to compensate for the wind push. Making our adjustment quite tricky down the slope there. Be as accurate as you can. Not a totally accurate pull from me there, but it gives you an idea of the type of shot we want to play. Like I said, the alternative is a rough bump, but you would need a side spin 4 ball. Just need to aim a little bit more to the right there, but it's still a very good chance with the Guardian. So true club distance, 10% elevation. We've got a nice, safe and secure eagle. Maybe you would get lucky for the albatross though. Starting with the quarterback, blue ring, touching the rough at +9. 2 top spin, 3 bars side spin to the left with a kingmaker. Then we're going to switch to our Apocalypse bag with the Cataclysm or the Big Dog. Adjustment, max plus 10, 7.8 wind here, max plus 10 on the adjust, even though we're not at max distance of club. Reason I'm setting up with the quarterback is because there's no plus yardage with the APOC, and it gets round those issues with people having different level of club. Outer wall curl to the left, try and hit perfect here, of course. Fairway is a little bit narrow. Haven't tested this one with minor greats, so try and hit perfect. Topspin takes us nicely down the fairway, approaches the rough without risking it. Drive distance 309 yards. Second shot, playing with the Big Dog or the Cataclysm. This is just to get it to green for the Eagle, but like I said, there is an outside chance the Albatross. Setting up at +1, red ring touching the rough with this club level. Then I'm adding spin, 1.2 backspin and 3 right spin. You'll see the second bounce is just inside the fringe. And then we're going to make our adjustment. Even though we are not at max distance, once again, max plus 10 on the adjust. Higher wind strength here will take you a little bit more into overpower. So if that is the case, add that on. We are just inside max distance of club with 7.8 wind though here. And then I'm going with just a little bit more than outer wall curl to the right. Again, we could go with a little bit more or less depending on the outcome here, but it's a difficult shot to dial in the Albatross. Maybe a fraction too much curl in this instance, but we've just burnt the right edge of the cup looking from the tee. Very easy putt for the Eagle. The aggressive option, of course, is going up on the right-hand side. Power 5, wind 3 ball, and then you've got a rough bump between the bunkers. But that is a free-to-play option there. Safe Eagle. If you want to go aggressive, of course, by all means, give it a go. Nasty headwind angle we're going to set up with the quarterback first for the plus yard reference. And here I'm going at the top of +3 yards with the blue ring touching the rough on the left. Then we switch to our Thor's hammer bag with the Thorn. And we're going with the Kingmaker, and we're going to add our spin. And that's 6.5 top spin and 3 bars side spin to the right. And once we've done that, we're going to push adjust our rings because the trees and the shrubbery are very unhelpfully in the way. So we're going to push rings to adjust, and the adjustment is maximum distance 0 elevation. Reason I'm using Thor's hammer here, if you've got low level APOC, kind of APOC 3, 4, 5, the top spin is going to get you in between clubs most likely on the approach if you're unlucky. So that's why I'm going with Thor's hammer for the extra top spin. 0.8 ball curl to the right, circle drop over power, no more than that, so make sure it's just the first point where the circle drops. Hit perfect. Now, I would suggest you write down the drive distance as a reference as well, in case you haven't got a white ring fringe check. If so, the drive here matches up with the second shot, 340 yards, also known as a white fringe check of +4 in this scenario. Both of those is going to be a confirmed drop at 74% slider. You can see there I was making the check, but because it's so close to max distance of club, if you're short on the drive, you're not going to have that check. So have your drive distance ready as well. Blue ring touching the bunker, and then add backspin, get the ball guide 1 green square past the hole and missing on the left side of the cup. Not going to be much, it's going to be about 0.5, 0.8 backspin, depending on your drive distance. Like I said, both of those references for the drive distance and the white fringe check, they equate to 74% slider, and we're going to play with 35% elevation, pulling over the bullseye, centering the ball, hitting perfect, and this is going to have a very good chance for a drop. And you're going to see one here on this par 4, bouncing nicely onto the green, and there we go. Here I'm only going to go with a navigator because this hole is very frustrating and I want to try and save a Kingmaker, but give you a chance, an outside chance of a drop. We're going with 3 backspin and 0.6 right spin here in this example. It's a very awkward spin set, but it is a no movement target shot. However, that is with Sniper 10. I've not tested the NMT with Sniper 9, so if you've got Sniper 9, I would actually just play this with a Kingmaker just in case a power 1 ball hasn't got the same NMT position. Mid +20, power 1 settings regardless of your club level and ball used. Use Sniper 10 numbers. I would in this instance have added 0.1 to get this to drop. It's tweakable if you want it, but if not, you should be close, if not in, and you've only hit a navigator off the tee rather than a kingmaker. So it's up to you how much you want to tweak. On the drive here, we're going to set up and play with the quarterback actually, and then play with the sniper for our second shot. Clear ring overlapping the rough, half of it overlapping the rough, at the top of plus 12. Then we go with 1 bar of top spin and 3 left spin. Adjustment here, max plus 15. Max plus 15. Now, the reason I'm only using 1 top spin, any more than that, I have been finding glitch rolls. If you do roll into the rough, you can still save it with a Nirvana bouncing down there with top spin. So don't worry if you catch a glitch roll, they do happen, but I've been okay with 1 top spin. Max left curl just before the circle drops as our overpower reference. Going to bounce very safely there. Great left might be trouble though, so try and hit perfect. And we get a nice roll there without anything glitchy. Drive distance of around 320. Second shot, adding spin first, 4 top spin and 3 bars of side spin to the right. And then I want to set up here with the ball guide short of the pin. Now this one needs a little bit of a tweak, so just bear in mind here what you're seeing. You might need to tweak from that, but you can see along the line of the shot, as we're looking at it where our ball is, the tip of the ball guide was 2 green squares short of the pin, and that's the reference you need to tweak from. So you need to base your tweak on the results of the video. We're using landing position plus yards. Plus 9 with sniper 10 will be plus 11 with sniper 9, and that's 92% slider, 20% elevation. And here I'm using 2 clicks of underpower because we adjust to a higher point. If you forget the underpower, you're probably not going to end up in the rough, but you will be using a wedge for the eagle rather than putting. So the underpower there just safeguarding us from going too long, but you can see I'm just missing out on the left hand side. First of all, I'm playing with a sail ball. You don't need to do that. The kingmaker would be fine, but it gives me the exact amount of side spin that I need, which is 2 bars right spin, and we're going with 4.5 back spin. Ball guide pointing to the right edge of the cup, and the yellow ring is touching the beginning of the fringe, so a few reference points there. Try and keep the wind below 8 miles per hour, because if you've got a wind that is higher than 8, you will adjust to the minimum distance line. So this one is a case of needing potentially a wind 4 ball if you're unlucky enough to get high wind. But there we're making our adjustment. Small 1201 on the pull angle here, so look at your wind arrow, and it's 1 on 1, so 7.2 in wind, 7.2 rings. I think you've got 8.2 rings from that position to adjust, so you might get away with it with an 8.2, but wind angle tweaks will be needed as well, but that will give you a framework to build from on this tricky par 3. Time to go aggressive on hole 8. Crosswind, but a little bit of tailwind, and I think it's enough, in my opinion, to go full blast with a berserker. So that's what I'm going to load up, 11.1, and we're going to go with 5.8 top spin, 2 left spin, max distance with the APOC 5 and above, and with this club level, it's half of the blue ring inside the rough. Adjustment is max plus 10, so max plus 10 here. You could play with an Apocalypse level 4, but you're going to have a shakier needle. I adjust my max plus 10, then I push up 5 yards with APOC 5 and above. If you've got APOC 4, you will need to push up a total of 12 yards. Then we're going to go full overpower, outer wall curl to the left, try and hit perfect. Great right here is danger. If you think you're a great right hitter, and there's a danger of that, then set up a little bit further to the left to try and safeguard. Great left has been fine for me. We want to catch a bit of a glitch roll. Anything over 435 yards is going to be fine. Second shot, we're going to have a go with a no spin shot with the thorn. Fringe check here, FC on the notepad. Plus 3, so that's where the bullseye is over beginning of the fringe in line with the pin. That's plus 3. Then we're going to find our position, move the target back, have the ball guide just short of the cup. You'll see I've zoomed in there for you. No spin at all. Plus 3 here, based on the miss in the video, so this is a tweaked adjustment. I would recommend you try 66% on the slider, but you need 50% elevation. The side wind here causes us to play or to need to play with more elevation. So plus 3 fringe check, 66% slider. It is 2% for every yard difference. More information on reference points using the slider can be found on the Academy tutorials once again. So if there's any terminology you're not familiar with, go and check out that playlist, because chances are I've answered that question for you. So fringe check here, +3 is 66% slider. That's my recommendation based on the close miss in the video. If you are enjoying the free content here on the channel and want to help out and keep everything free, then please consider making a small donation. All donations are gratefully received and help me out here on the channel, as all of the content here is produced for free in my own spare time. You can do that in one of three ways. You can hit the thanks button here on YouTube, you can make a PayPal donation via the link in the description down below, or you can also join us over on Patreon. Details at the end of the video. Setting up with the rock, bullseye in the middle of the fairway. With the rock level 8 it's at +4, with the rock level 9 is at +3, and the rock level 7 would be at +9. Then we switch to Apocalypse and Goliath. 5.8 topspin, half a bar of side spin to the right. Then we are going to adjust. This is more the headwind angle. You might get more of a level crosswind, you may get a hint of tailwind. The shots should still work nicely in all of the various wind angles that you might get. Max +10, maximum overpower, slower needle, even slower needle if you get the slight tailwind angle, of course. No curl, just hit perfect. Bounces on the fairway, second bounce in the rough, and the top spin rolls out nicely around 360 yards. Very small risk of a dead rollout, but you should always be out of the rough here. Second shot, I'm using the Goliath because I may get a slightly shorter drive and I want to safeguard against that. If you want to try and risk with the Grizzly, you can do, but you need to work out a different adjustment. Fringe check, +2, in line with the pin, beginning of the fringe, bullseye right over there. +2 is going to be 60% slider. It's all on the notepad there for you. 10% elevation. So 10% elevation, the number underneath that is the slider value. Adding spin around 4 top spin, yellow ring just by the rough line, and then adjusting here 60% slider, 10% elevation, pulling to the bullseye in this case. Make sure you always use the same method of whoever you're trying to follow. Perfect ball here. This one just sneaks in on the edge. The notepad value on the screen should be dropping at the pin, but always check your fringe check yourself and make sure you're worrying about wind angle if you want to, but it's a very good chance with a rough bump there shouldn't be too much wind effect to deal with. So there we go, fringe check, 10% elevation, +2, 60% slider. Good luck. Thanks very much for watching this video here on the channel. If it has helped you in any way, please consider sharing it amongst your friends and clanmates in the game. Join us also on Facebook. Head over there, search for BK Golf Clash and join our free group. Loads of members there sharing shots. Free guides are posted, as well as loads of other great Golf Clash resources. So check us out there. You can join in the discussion and also leave feedback on the game in general. Finally, if you wish to help support the channel and keep the content free for everybody, please consider becoming a Patreon member. The link is in the video description down below. Good luck, see you soon, bye for now.